Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. My name is Evans Maponya. This lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. The topic for today is on tourism sectors. The topic will be assessed only in the final examination, meaning you have never come across questions based on this topic, that is tourism sectors, during your TSA, during the control test that you wrote, during the mid-year examination, during the data handling, and in the prelim exam. This topic was never assessed at all. So you'll come across questions based on this only in the final examination. During the year, we have discussed this topic, so it is necessary for us to revisit the topic and emphasize its importance. So you'll come across this topic only in the final examination, and it makes your section D, that is question 7, and you may get questions based on this topic in section A, that is your short questions. Right. Tourism sectors is threefold. So we'll start with the first part of the sectors, which centers around conditions of employment, the purpose and value of the code of conduct. And later in the lesson, we'll look into professional image as one perspective of this topic. Right, this is your part one. We'll look into conditions of employment, purpose and value of the code of conduct. We have discussed this sometime during the year. So grade 12 learners, I'm not going to elaborate much on the content, but rather I would flag only the important aspects of the subtopics that will be discussed here. Grade 12 learners, our emphasis, however, would be on the practice of exam questions that we have derived from previous question papers, just to give you the practicality aspect of the topic. Right. Your work schedule, or rather your ATP, stipulates the subtopics that are entailed in this topic. As I have alluded to, we'll be looking at conditions of employment, as well as the purpose and value of the code of conduct, with the bullets, the 3 bullets that are indicated here. So that would refer to, in as far as condition of employment is concerned, we'll look into the contract of employment, describing also the basic conditions of employment, such as working hours, uniform allowance, the travel benefits, leave, the core duties of an employee, the fringe benefits, remunerations and deduction, the termination of service, professional accountability and responsibility, service ethics procedure, and will refer to the relevant act that legislate the basic conditions of employment in South Africa. So we'll have reference to the Department of Labor Basic Condition of Employment Act, and the relevant website address is given here is www.labor.gov.za if you need further details about the Act. We'll also look into the subtopic, the purpose and value of a code of conduct. Then we'll reflect much on the purpose that spells out expected conduct of the staff in performance of their duties. We'll also look into the guidance for staff members, as well as the ethical challenges that they might be faced with. We'll also look into the second bullet, the value that creates cooperative and collaborative atmosphere to promote integrity in the workplace. These are aspects that we'll be focusing on this afternoon. What is an employee? An employee is a person who has a contract of employment. He's generally required to work regularly unless they are on some type of leave. They are entitled to a paid holiday. Employees are subject to redundancy procedures if they are not productive enough. So there are certain procedures that should be followed to correct that. Employees are also required to work a minimum number of hours and cannot subcontract another person to do their work for them. So an employee cannot ask to be substituted or cannot substitute himself when he is unable to go to work or to perform his or her duties. Conditions of employment. It stipulates the environment in which you work, what you do, how long you work, and it is governed by these labor relations laws. That is the Bill of Rights embedded in our Constitution. It is also governed by the Labor Relations Act, which I have alluded earlier on and supplied the website address for further information. It is also governed by the Basic Condition of Employment Act, that is BCEA. The stipulated aspects of the conditions of employment. So inside the conditions of employment, you'll find the following. The contract of employment explains basic conditions, and examples that we have will be the core duties, that is your job description, which stipulates what your work entails. It will also indicate the working hours. It will also indicate the uniform allowance if you are entitled to. It will also indicate the travel benefits. It will also indicate your leave entitlement as to how many days you are entitled for leave in a particular year. It will also indicate the remunerations and deductions. It will also indicate the termination of services, and it will stipulate, lastly but least, professional accountability and responsibility as you execute your duties. And lastly, it reflects the service ethics. Job description itself. A job description can be defined as a written document that describes the related duties and responsibilities within a specific job or within a specific function. It also refers to the knowledge, skills, and abilities that an employee needs to perform the job satisfactorily. So if you don't have the necessary skills and abilities, you may not be productive for any institution that you are employed at. The working hours. Employees are usually expected to work 45 hours in a day, a week. That accounts for 9 hours on each and every day. Included is the tea times and lunch times, the breaks that you have. So under normal circumstances, employees are given a contract not exceeding 45 hours in a week. Overtime, it's earned on Saturdays and Sunday. So if you work on Saturday and Sundays, you are entitled to an overtime rate. So you'll be paid an overtime rate. So the rate will be different from the normal working hours, which we said is 45 hours. So anything beyond that, you'll be paid overtime, and the rate is different. When I speak of the rate, if you earn 100 Rand per day, over 9 hours that you shall have worked, it means with overtime, you can be remunerated at a rate of 150 or plus. The time worked beyond 45 hours should be paid at overtime rate. This I have just explained to say the rates are not the same. The normal working hours are paid less as opposed to the Saturdays and Sunday. So the rate is a little bit higher over the weekends. Uniform allowances. Some businesses or some institution will require their employees to wear uniform. We have so many examples, like in the South African Police Service, they are required, most of them, to put on uniform. Um, People employed in hospital, people employed in the sector, the hospitality sector, some of them are required to put on uniform. The company, they can supply their staff with uniform or give an allowance or meet them halfway for uniform. The contract of employment will show the stipulation of the uniform, so meaning that the uniform, the colors, and the designs will be articulated in the contract of employment. So it will be shown, it will be indicated in the contract of employment. The travel benefits. Travel benefits can be an allowance to travel, or it can be time given for an employee to travel. So it's twofold. It's either you are given some form of money that will subsidize you on your travel, or you can be allowed time to go on holiday. So those are regarded as travel benefits. Some of the airline companies will allow their employees to travel for free. That is one benefit. So if you work in the flight industry, in the airline industry, you'll be given some free travel allowance. So you bought a flight for free as one of the benefits. Or travel at half price. This is one of the benefits that you can get, or have a discounted price for the distance. Leave, it refers to a period when an employee is away from work. So this is one of the benefits that you have as an employee. You need to be given some time to rest, and that is referred to as leave. And you are given some days away from work. So this it's indicated in the contract of employment. Leave can be paid or unpaid. So let us look at the scenario. The annual leave obviously is paid because you are taking from the number of days that you are allocated, depending or differing from one business to another. So some would give you 12 days per annum of annual leave. Some will give you 30. So hence I've said it varies from one business to another. You are also entitled to sick leave. So apart from annual leave, the number of days that you are given just to rest, you are also entitled to sick leave. On days when you are sick, you can take a sick leave. And normally they will like to get a doctor's note confirming that indeed you were not on duty because you were sick. You are also entitled to maternity leave. Maternity leave in the past used to apply to female staff, where they will given a certain months to deliver their newborns. But recently, grade 12 learners, be aware that fathers also are granted maternity leave. So if your wife is expecting at home, or it's expected to deliver, you are given some days off just to take care of the situation. You also allowed family responsibility, and this refers to instances where you have death in the family, in the immediate family for that matter, that you are allowed date to assist during funeral arrangements. I'll pass on that. The fringe benefits. These are other benefits that an employee can expect while employed. So if your work involves a lot of traveling, or you are a field worker, then some businesses would give petrol allowances. As in the case of petrol, if you work outside the offices, some of the company will provide cell phone cost, or they will provide a cell phone with airtime to conduct calls. Another benefit would be retirement. When you retire, you must be compensated for the period of work that you were with the company. You are also expected in some companies to get medical benefit. That's why you are subsidized in situation where you need to access medical facilities, and the medical aid would come in handy. You are also given benefits in some businesses for life cover or life insurances at discounted rates. So you may find that you are paying 70% of your life insurance and the company is contributing 30%. Allowances to cover meals, etc., when away from home for a long time. So when you are sent on an assignment outside your work environment, then you are at some point given the meal allowance. Remunerations and deductions. These are deductions that will appear on your payslip in some of the institutions. A remuneration refers to a salary or a wage. So a salary is earned at the end of the month, and a wage it's either weekly or fortnightly. Fortnightly referring to a period of 2 weeks. So you work for 2 weeks and you get paid at the end of 2 weeks, or you can get a wage at the end of every week. And a salary, then it's only received after having worked for 30 or 31 days in a month. The amount that an employee received in a month or per week, I've already dealt on this one. This amount varies according to position at the company. So a manager cannot get the same salary or wage as a cleaner or a cook. The deductions refers to money that are taken off the salary for tax, medical aid, unemployment fund, and other expenses like uniforms. So the money that is taken out of your salary, out of your gross salary, say maybe you earn 10,000 a month, and they need to take out of that money money for tax, because for every payment that you get, you need to pay tax. For every income that you get, you need to subscribe to tax with the South African Revenue Services. If you are a member of a medical aid, then that deduction will come out of your salary and it will reflect on your payslip and what your contribution is, as well as the employer's contribution. Unemployment insurance fund caters for those employees who lose their job, that during the time which they are jobless, they can earn something. They can get some money that was saved in the form of an unemployment insurance fund, which is UIF. And here also it includes deductions like uniforms. So those are some of the deductions that comes out of your remuneration. The total pay that you get is referred to as the gross. And after the deductions, after these deductions that we have mentioned, then you get your net salary. That is the salary that gets into your bank. As we move further, we are also going to look into the termination of service. This means that the services comes to an end. So what you have to offer to the company comes to an end. You are no longer working. Your service has been stopped. The contract of employment will state when it will be ended or the notice that should be given. So all these aspects are elucidated in the contract of employment. So you'll know if you are going to be employed for a period of 1 year or a fixed period of 3 months. Those conditions will be indicated in the contract of employment. It will also indicate if you are temporary or permanent in that job function. This notice, the notice that has been referred to here is a valid from the employee side and the employer side, meaning that you cannot be just excused from your duties without notice. So you must be given notification. So in some instances, they will indicate that this is the type of offense. You'll get a verbal warning. You'll get after a verbal warning, if that is repeated, you'll get a written notice. And eventually, if that kind of misbehavior continues, then you'll be sacked from your position at the job. So that we give notice. We don't just expel employees willing. Also, what is important about the notice is that when the company or the business goes bankrupt, you don't just sack people, you don't just expel employees, but rather you have to give them a certain notice to prepare for the situation beyond unemployment. Professional responsibility and accountability. The term accountability refers that an employee can be held responsible for their actions while at work. So here we are referring to mistakes that employees can cause to the company. So such mistakes, an employee might be required to pay. For instance, you use a company vehicle, you get involved in an accident, and it is discovered that you are on the wrong side of the accident. You might be required to exercise some accountability by replacing the vehicle or repairing the vehicle. Details of responsibilities are usually given in the contract of employment. So all these aspects are indicated in the contract of employment. As we move further, we'll look into the concept of service ethics. Ethics refers to societal way of behavior or acceptable behavior that is expected of an employee. So it is a set of standard of behavior and the professional conduct that employees must portray when they are given an employment contract. So service ethic is influenced by concepts such as you need to be honest to your employer, you need to act with integrity in whatever you are doing, you have to be accountable, you have to be confidential, meaning that you must be able to keep the deep secrets of the company that pays you at the end of the month. You need to be respectful, you need to show respect to other people, and you need to always abide by the law. You need to be obedient. You need to follow the rules and regulations of the company. The purpose and value of a code of conduct. The purpose would spell out expected conduct of staff in the performance of their duties and guidance for staff members faced with challenges. The value in the statement indicates that there should be a creation of a cooperative and collaborative atmosphere. There has to be cooperation between the employer and the employee, and they need to collaborate to join efforts in whatever they are doing to promote a healthy atmosphere, to promote integrity in the workspace. You study other examples of code of conduct from a variety of tourism businesses. Here, you know, the code of conduct as learners would include things like the type of uniform that you must always put on. And when you are not on uniform in your school, you'll be called for a disciplinary hearing. The code of conduct, how to conduct yourself within the school premises, all those apply also in a work environment. So the code of conduct does not apply to you as learners in your respective school, but it also applies to employees. Certain behavior must be portrayed by employees if they work in a particular environment. So you'll explore more example that you must be of sober habits, for example, and many others. Now let's practice questions for the first portion, which is conditions of employment and the value of the code of conduct. As I've indicated earlier on, I've made an indication that the questions were derived from past papers, and I've also alluded to the fact that you'll come across questions for this topic in the final examination, and it's question 7. So as you can see here, we have extracted from the past question paper 7.2. So it says, read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. I'm going to quickly read through the extract, which is entitled Social Media Dispute. Mr. Williams, an employee at a well-known hotel, made frequent references to his workplace as a hotel from hell on social media. He was reported to the hotel management by his social media friend, who also happened to be his work colleague, for being in a violation of the hotel's code of conduct, which included a strict social media policy. The colleague also accused Mr. William of negatively influencing other staff members who were also his online friends. Mr. Williams was given written warnings, but continued to make comments about how he disliked where he worked, even though the hotel was not mentioned by name. He failed to stop posting adverse or insulting comments and even made harassing and bullying social media comments against the colleague he suspected of reporting him. After an internally disciplinary hearing, Mr. Williams was immediately dismissed as a result of his social media posting. I hope you'll bear the extract in mind, because after this, we are going to look into typical questions that are asked based on the extract that I've just read out. 7.2.1, it says, explain how Mr. William was in violation of the hotel's social media policy. I can see that some of you are already thinking of answers to give here. And then I'll read all the questions, and then we'll look into the answers later on. 7.2.2, Mr. Williams' social media friend or a work colleague reported his post to the hotel management. If you had been in the same position at work, would you also have reported Mr. Williams' conduct? Choose yes or no. And you are to give 2 reasons for your answer. 7.2.3, the value of a code of conduct is to create a cooperative, collaborative atmosphere that promotes integrity in the workplace. Explain 3 ways in which the hotel's code of conduct served its purpose in the scenario above. The scenario above refers to the extract that we have read. So, interesting here is we need to look into the allocation of marks. Look at the allocation of marks. 7.21 is 2 marks. 7.22, if you had been in the same position at work, would you have reported Mr. Williams? Choose from yes or no and give 2 reasons for your answer. And this is allocated 4 marks. And as you can see, it is horizontal to the question, the core of the question. So meaning that yes or no have not been allocated, but you are required to mention if you have taken a yes stance or a no stance with no mark, so that you validate your reasons that you'll be giving. So you cannot just say yes and expect to get 2 marks. Unfortunately, there is no mark allocated for yes or no. But it is required of you to make a choice, because the instruction says choose. The instruction for choosing yes or no, it means the answer can go either way. However, you must substantiate by giving 2 reasons. And each reason is allocated 2 marks. Hence, you have 4 marks here. 7.2.3, the value of a code of conduct is to create cooperative, collaborative atmosphere that promotes integrity in the workplace. Explain 3 ways in which the hotel's code of conduct served its purpose in this scenario. And this is allocated 6 marks. So it will be 2 marks for each of the way explained. Now, let's now reflect on the memo or the marking guideline for this question. 7.2.1, explain how Mr. William was in violation of the hotel's social media policy. The first reason given was he tarnished the image of the business with his adverse comments on social media. So, in simpler terms, we can say he badmouthed this business or his employer with his negative comments that he made on social media. So this is allocated 2 marks. We have alluded to that, and you'll get your 2 marks. So in situations like this, it says explain. So you are going to explain giving reasons. You are going to express yourself giving reasons for your answer. So his negativity influenced other fellow workers. So the way he posted negative comments, he influenced his fellow workers to join him in giving negative comments about the company. Remember, the company is the employer. He bullied and harassed a colleague. So from the code of ethics, this is not allowed. Bullying in every situation and harassment are against human. So all these are the reasons why we can safely say Mr. William violated the rules and regulations or his contract of employment, which is in this case a hotel. 7.2.2, as an employee, I am responsible to protect the image of the business. That is, if you said a yes, and as I've explained, there are no ticks for a yes. Another reason, if you have taken the option yes, I would play a role in ensuring the profitability of the business. So you must make sure that you market your workplace, you say good things, or you give a positive word of mouth about your business so that it attracts or it makes a lot of profit, which in turn will pay or will be used to pay for your salary. So, as an employee of a company, you must always try and protect the image of your company so that it makes profit. If I don't report the colleague's conduct, I might be perceived as agreeing with him, thus giving me a bad reputation at work. So the ethics, if you see wrong and you don't report it at a work or at an employment situation, then you are saying, I'm also party to the corruptions or the bad behavior just that I have witnessed. Mr. Williams bullied and harassed his colleagues despite having no proof that it was him or reporting it to the hotel. So he accused people without verifying, without providing proof that they are the ones. So in this case, the memo is open, or rather the marking guideline is open to accept other answers that speaks to integrity and a sense of responsibility. That is in an event that you took a yes stance. So let's look at a situation where you say no. Again, here, as I've indicated, there are no ticks. So look at where the ticks are allocated in a yes. But if you have happened to have chosen a no and write that Mr. Williams practices his right to freedom of speech, the social media page belongs to Williams, he can post whatever he wants. So you'll be allocated 2 marks. And fearful of victimization at work and on social media. So it will be another 2 marks. Right. You need to be careful in instances like this. The question asks you to pick a yes or a no. Then you must make up your mind that if it's a yes, you are going to always reason for a yes option. So in an event where your answer it's a yes, but your reasons are for a no, you are not going to get marks for the no explanations that you have given. I hope I've made this clear, grade 12 learners. A no should have negative reasons, and a yes should be aligned to positive reasons or should match the yes that you have given, or the reasons should match a no. So be careful when you are answering a yes or no question with substantiation, with where you have to motivate. So your motivations must be aligned to your stance if it's a yes or a no. Let's move further. Another practice set of questions, is the last question on the memorandum. On the questions that we have looked at, 7.3.2, dismissing Mr. William on the grounds of violating the Code of Conduct for Employee ensures that, number one, the professionalism and integrity of the hotel is protected. So the hotel or the management arrived at a decision to dismiss Mr. Williams because they wanted to protect their integrity. They wanted to protect the professionalism that is shown by the hotel. So they have to eradicate, they have to cut off Mr. William so that they protect their image, their integrity, and cover for the professionalism that exists in the hotel. It also allowed the hotel to discipline employees with a legal framework. So legally or otherwise, the code of conduct protects the aspiration of either the employee or the employer. So the needs are protected in the code of for conduct of employees. So Mr. William was seen in violation of the code of conduct. Other employees are protected from repeated verbal personal attacks. So remember, he was accusing some of his co-workers for reporting them, though without a proof. So such employees need to be protected. It keeps employees accountable for their actions. So Mr. Williams have acted in an inaccountable manner. So he needed to be disciplined. That was done in the form of verbal written warnings, and eventually he was dismissed. He was expelled from work. The contravention of the code of conduct can be addressed by a written warning, which I have just alluded to. Correct labor practices are followed by the business. So the business have followed the correct procedure because they started off by expressing their concerns verbally. They gave a written warning, and Mr. Williams was expelled. I'm sure as I explain these answers, I'm also giving you some signs and some clue as to the kind of questions that you will expect in the final examination. As we move further with the practice of questions, this is another set of questions coming from the past paper. Read the information below, answer the questions that follow. Royal Tourism Service, fair labor practice. And in this, we have about 6 tiles or 6 information leaflets. I'll take you through them. To treat their employees fairly, Royal Tourism Services implements the required conditions of employment. The first one, which is this one, all employees have legal binding contracts, and it is followed by working hours and overtime comply with the law. So the law has been followed. All employees are paid a fair salary, an acceptable salary. Employees are given meal breaks during working hours, so they are entitled to lunchtime, tea times, you name them. All those breaks are given. Deductions are made according to the legal requirements. So the deductions such as UIF, which is unemployment insurance benefit, deductions such as tax are done or are made in relation to the legal requirements are made in relation to the law. Employees have access to the basic conditions of Employment Act. So you have access to go through the literature available that explains the conditions of employment, such that if you are not satisfied, you are allowed to engage with your employer. Now, the question 7.21, explain two conditions of employment relating to remuneration payment of staff members. Number 2, explain the difference between working hours and overtime. So the key word here, or the action word here, the action verb that will guide you towards giving the correct answer is that you need to explain two conditions. It doesn't say give two conditions. It says explain two conditions. So explain means that you have to give reasons for your answer. You have to elaborate. The salary is fair. Oh, the salary is fair. Payment for the work completed. So we are giving a reason to the statement in question. Regular payments of monthly salary wage. So they are giving their employees regular payments or a salary. So if a salary is earned on the 30th, right on the 30th, they will pay their employees. The salary is competitive within the sector, so they get acceptable pays. Working hours, meals, break, and overtime comply with the law. So the legal aspect has been satisfactorily met here. The law or the act has been followed to the letter. Amounts deducted from the salary, for example, the UIF, which I have also explained prior, are according to the law. Workers are also given an overtime pay. So that is how to explain how the company complies to the conditions of employment. 7.2, you are expected to differentiate between working hours and overtime. So it says explain the difference between working hours and overtime. So you are going to compare. So it says explain the difference. So you are going to state how they differ from one another. You are going to juxtapose the two concepts in question, which is normal working hours and overtime, and tell us how they differ. So the maximum working hours are specified, that is 45 hours per week. It has been specified in the set of conditions that were alluded to. Hours worked over and above the required working time, that is overtime hours, are also specified and paid for. The normal working hours are part of the contractual obligation, so you are not supposed to miss the normal working hours, whereas overtime at some point is upon the employee's choice. You choose whether you want to work overtime or not. It's not compulsory in some instances. However, if you are compelled to work overtime hours, it is negotiated to a maximum of 10 hours per week. So meaning over and above normal working hours and overtime, you can work as much as 55 hours. You cannot go beyond that. And that includes normal working hours and overtime. Working hours are paid at normal rates, whereas overtime is paid at a higher rate. Now, if you compare the differences between the two, what you write on the left, that is working hours are paid. So the reason on the left or the explanation of overtime must also link to the payment. What is important here, it is the rate, which is the payment. So you must compare this, your explanation, orange for an orange. You cannot compare it, an apple with an orange. So that makes you irrelevant. So you must stick to the rates if you are referring to the rates. And if you are explaining the concept, you must stick to the explanation. Here, for example, the 45 hours, which you are obliged. So hours worked above normal time. So here we are giving our reason based on the time or the period that you are allocated to execute your functions. As we move further with the practice questions, I am emphasizing on the practice questions because of the reasons that I've explained before the start of this lesson. To say we are going to focus much on assessment, how this topic is assessed, because it was never assessed before. The cabin crew of an airline has many responsibilities. Give one condition as part of the airline code of conduct on the following: punctuality and treatment of passengers. Let's look at the answers. With regard to punctuality, the cabin crew must report for duty on time. So you can imagine if the flight has to leave at 7 o'clock and you come 5 minutes later. So you derail the whole process. So there are certain expectations of you with regard to punctuality, that at all times you have to arrive on time. So reasons for late coming are not entertained at all. So cabin crew must report for duty on time, be able to manage their time, not be late, as it will have an effect on the rest of the airline operation. So 5 minutes or 30 seconds, it's enough to put in the entire airline in a horrible kind of situation. So the operations of airline is time-based and relies solely on time. That's why they issue timetables. So workers in that industry must subscribe to the time. The treatment of passengers, crew members are expected not to be rude to passengers. So they must be friendly. Passengers should always be treated with respect. Crew members should not become too familiar with the passengers. So you must always guard the space so that you end up focusing much of your attention to certain passengers in the flight and leave out the rest. So you must watch the kind of space that you create between yourself and your clients. Crew members must be firm towards unruly passengers who threaten the safety of other passengers. So we need to be firm in applying the rules of the company that we represent. Grade 12 learners will take a 2 minutes break, and when we bounce back, we'll zoom into part 2 of this presentation, which is professional image in the tourism industry. So just 2 minutes, and then we'll bounce back and try to iron out some of the challenges that we can expect in the final. Welcome back, grade 12 learners. As in the case of the previous subtopic, this subtopic was also discussed at length, so much emphasis will be given to the question practice. Just bear in mind that it is a topic which basically should be discussed during this week in your classes, but I know for a fact you have already covered this topic. Many of you have already covered this topic in your class, and we have covered this topic at this platform at some point in time, and yeah, we went through the length and breadth of it. We did cover professional image in the tourism industry as your work schedule dictates. And we have looked into how the following factors contribute to professional image in the tourism industry. And such factors are the image of the company, such as the name, the logo, the slogan, the website, the stationery, marketing material, the product packaging, the physical appearance of the business, the environmental practices, as well as customer service policies. In the second bullet, we are going to explore the image of the staff, such as professional appearance, uniform, dress code, if no uniforms are worn, as well as personal hygiene, grooming, interaction with customers, as well as communication skills. These are the concepts that underlies this topic, this subtopic. Remember, the main topic is tourism sector, and we have said it is assessed as section D, question 7, and also assessed in section A, question 1 of the final examination. So, as in the case of the previous topic, that is the conditions of employment and the code of conduct, it was never assessed in any of the formal task this year. So you'll only come across questions based on professional image in the final examination. So it's important to work hard, to study hard on this topic in question. So prepare yourself thoroughly, use multiple past exam papers, and make sure that you have enough practice on this topic. Right. Let's move on. The question of the day: will customers trust you, like you, buy from you, or hire your business services because of the way you or your company look? Your appearance, attitude, and confidence define the kind of person you are. Right. So we are trying to here demonstrate how appearance plays an important role in decision making of the client. So you cannot say you offer accommodation and you want to accommodate people in this kind of a building. But if you look at the second one, it is more attractive to the as opposed to the first one. So people may not choose this one at the expense of this. So most of the people will prefer to stay in such a conducive environment as this one, as opposed to the one on top. Majority of people will prefer this kind of situation. Right. If you come across the service provider who is or who looks as professional as the one on top, you are likely to go on this one. So if you enter an environment where you'd find such a disorganized kind of personality, kind of person, then you start to make conclusion, and you will not take this kind of an employee very serious. So I'm just introducing the topic of professionalism. So you be the judge as to which one is professional between the two. Is it this one or this one? And obviously, this one looks more professional, and this one looks unprofessional, whereas the second one is more professional. Professional. Here we are referring to professionalism in the tourism industry. It has been proven that customers prefer tourism products that portray or show or display a professional image because they believe what you see is what you get. So, in every situation where you are expected to make a choice, you have to look, scrutinize, and you choose the best of what you have looked at. The image of the company refers to a recognizable and trustworthy company symbol, a combination of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, opinions, and visions people have about the company and its product and services. Here we have popular ones such as KFC. Immediately you see this image. Then your taste buds are activated. You start to salivate. When you see Wimpy, you start thinking of some of the burgers they have in store. So, and then you see engine, then you'll think of fuel. You'll that there is a refill station just around the corner. So it helps you to recognize the company. Mango, you'll realize that it is one of the airlines industry. Avis, you'll think of car hire. So Spare, you'll think of a formal kind of restaurant as opposed to this one, KFC. So here you'll get continental dishes, buffets, and so forth. So whereas it is not the case with KFC and Wimpy. So that's how the image, or that's how the symbol shows us an image of a particular business. So it gives us a reason to talk about a particular business. Factors that contribute to professional image in the tourism industry. So you should look at these 10 factors one by one. Number one, the name of the company. So the name of the company helps you identify with the company. It helps you to say a lot about the company. So the name is important. The logo, the slogan, the website, the stationery. So if you look at this side, as all these aspects that you are referring, they attribute to the professional image. So also things like marketing material, packaging of the products, physical appearance of the business, environmental policies, and customer service policies. So all this defines the professional image of the tourism industry. Name of the company, we spoke much about this. Avis, for example, was in the previous example, and this one is one of the popular companies this year. You have Uber Eats and whatever sort of food deliveries at your disposal. Ushaka Marine World, and if you see this symbol, you identify with a certain place or attraction. The logo. A company's identity is expressed by its logo and the color thereof. The logo symbol of refers to a symbol of a trademark, and we have seen that with Mango, we've seen that with KFC, we've seen that with Engine. So all those logos, differentiate one business from the other. Altogether, uh, the logo, as well as other features that are visible, such as uniforms, marketing material, and signage. Cumulatively, they are called companies branding, the brand of a company. The slogan. A slogan is a short phrase that communicates a brand core values. So a slogan emphasizes on the value of the business. So with KFC, you have a slogan as it's finger licking good. With Spare, it's a taste for life. All those are a slogan. And with the Standard Bank, they would say simpler, better, and faster. Avis, we try harder. Those are slogan, and they help you to create the value of such a brand name. The website. A company's website is an important marketing tool when it comes to establishing an image. The website must be up to date, user friendly, and well designed. So it is from the website of the company that you'll get the type of products and services that are offered, as well as customer reviews, what other people are saying. So all this information about the company, you can get it from that website. And an example here is that of a hotel, the Radisson Blue Hotel in Sandton. So this is its website. And if you visit this website, you'll get what the standard of rooms on offer, the standard of services that are provided, as well as the prices or the rates, as well as other people's experience in the form of reviews. The stationery refers to office supplies such as letterheads, envelope, registration forms, invoices, notepads, as well as business cards. An example here, it's given. The marketing material refers to all printed material with information about company's products such as flyer, brochure, maps, business cards, leaflets, fact sheets, postcard, and posters, as well as video. Marketing material also include online marketing through website, newsletters, and social media. Such marketing material can be found in other places like bathroom in a hotel, whereby the material such as soap are reflect the brand and the logo of such a particular business. The product packaging refers to the way in which product features and benefits combine to appeal to customers. A tourism package is a bundle of tourism goods and services that is sold as a single product for an inclusive price. A package holiday is made up of elements such as flights, coach, transfer, accommodation, and excursions. So if you are booking in a hotel, the hotel itself may offer or may use a combination of other services such as shuttle from transportation from the airport to the hotel. It may also combine other services from the other sectors in the tourism industry. Like if you stay in this hotel, you find that it's linked to a certain attraction whereby it becomes easier and they market it as one product. Physical appearance, we have alluded to this one. What you see, it's what you get. So the physical appearance of an establishment or of certain employees in a company simply explains the kind of service that you will get. Though there's a saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but in a situation like this, in a business environment, the cover makes a lot of sense, more than the insights. And environmental policy, most companies write a statement which shows the aims and principles regarding how they look after the environment. So most tourists are interested in products and situations which are favors the environment or aims at protecting the environment. Committed to responsible tourism and conserving the environment project a positive and responsible image. The consumers are increasingly choosing to do business with companies that are committed to protecting the environment. These are just examples of environmental friendly policies. Some you'll find at the entrance of these tourism businesses. So they stipulate how do they go about protecting the environment. The bath and hand towels as a part of environmental conservation. Customer service policies. This one contains a statement to the customer about level of service they can expect, the standard that can be expected, the loyalty schemes. So loyalty schemes refers to rewards that you get when you use a service of a particular company. Formal complaints procedure to be followed by organization or customer service. Factors that contribute to professional image in the tourism industry. Here we'll focus on the image of the staff, professional appearance, things like uniform, dress code, personal hygiene, grooming, interaction with customers, as well as customers' skills. Professional appearance, that's how you'd expect people to work in certain industry, to wear or the kind of clothing, the kind of dress code they must use will show you if a particular tourism business is professional or professional. Uniforms. So certain jobs would require its employees to wear uniform. As in the case here, you would clearly identify this person as working in the catering industry. It's either a chef or a cook, and here would tell you that they are working in an office environment where uniform it's the core aspect of that business. You can clearly see that it's either they are air hostess or flight attendants. The dress codes would differ from company to company. Some of the company would want their employees to wear on or to put formal wear, and some would want their staff to look neat and tidy, professional, even though they are not on uniform. Personal hygiene refers to things like that you need to bath daily or take a shower, wash your hair regularly, wash your hands regularly, brush your teeth at least twice a day, shave daily, and use deodorants. Personal grooming, you must wear appropriate makeup. With regard to hair, clean and dry, it must always be clean and dry. The nails must be regularly cut into shape. The feet, no cracked heels, as well as the type of clothing that you need to wear. Interaction with customers, you need to be always polite to customers and be very cautious to your guests. Excellent service enhance the company's image. Poor service will damage the image of the company. Communication skills. Whenever staff deals with customers, they are communicating. whether it is face-to-face or over the telephone, in writing or non-verbally, through body language, the way in which the employees speak, present information in person or in writing, and their body language determine the impressions that employees make personally of the company. So let's look at how this is assessed. Remember, we said it's going to come out of section A, question 1, or in question in question 7, that is your section D. Right. Here in question 1, it's a match. You have to match column A and B. The front office staff must ensure their nails are well communicated. A hostess at the captain's banquet, formal dinner is required to wear formal evening clothes. The gym trainer are required to have regular shower or freshen up. The entertainment crew must put a smile on their passengers' faces. The first officer makes an announcement over the intercom. So in matching the two columns, the possible answers that were arrived at, say maybe for 1.4.1, if I were to look at the example, front office staff must ensure that their nails are well manicured, and that is referred to as grooming. 1.42 matches with dress code, 143 personal hygiene, 1.4.4 social skills, and 1.45 communication skills. Question and answer. Laura is a chef at a restaurant. The most appropriate dress code to accommodate her core duties. And the correct answer is number A. So he looks more or less the same to the person who does the cooking in a restaurant. As we further move, as you can look here, it's question 1.1.15. It's a multiple choice, and this is accommodated in section A of question 1. A well-groomed employee wears clothing with offensive slogan, uses perfume with an overwhelming scent, wears a clean, neatly ironed uniform, has a poor oral hygiene, and the correct option here is number C, wears a clean, neatly ironed uniform. If we move further by testing our knowledge, this is still your section A, question 1, which we have alluded to that this may be asked in question 1, and it is also asked in section D of question 7. So here you have to match the concept given above with the correct explanation from 1.2.1 to 1.2.5. Branded paper and pens that improve the image of the hotel, cleanliness of the hotel agency and the surrounding gardens, acceptable haircut and short nails for male employees, the value of the code of conduct for tourist guides, airline contributing to the cost of the cabin crew workwear. Right, here are your answers. 1.2.1 matches with company stationery, physical appearance of the business, grooming promotes integrity and uniform allowance. If you further test your knowledge in question 7, as an example, study the car rental advertisement below and answer the questions that follow. While on board of an airplane, a passenger saw the 2 advertisements in the in-flight magazine. He plans to hire a car on arrival at his destination. So here are 2 different advertisements that are alluded to by the question. It says, identify the car rental company whose advertisement does not project professional image and a sense of trust and confidence to a prospective customer. Discuss 3 elements in 7.2 from the advertisement to support your answer in question 7.1. Some companies do not consider a professional image as an important and concrete, only concentrate only on profit. Discuss two negative consequences of such an attitude. Referring to picture B, suggest two ways how the staff of Supreme Car Rental can contribute to the image. Now let's quickly look into the guide, the marking guide. 7.1, the most appropriate car rental company would be car rental A, simply the cheapest car rental. 7.2, car rental A does not project a professional image because the person in the advertisement is not professionally dressed in a uniform associated with car rental company. An older model car with damages and is possibly not roadworthy, leaving the customer stranded. The company is misleading the customer with false promises of value for money. The company advertisements does not contain any contact detail. So these are the reasons why one could say it's not projecting a professional image. 7.3.1, customers will support the opposition. Negative word of mouth may result in a fewer customers. So if you are not giving good services, it leads to negative word of mouth. Customers will badmouth you, and that will decrease the number of customers coming. It will also result in a decrease in profit margins, loss of employees, possible closure of business. 7.3.2, by dressing appropriately for work, delivering excellent customer service, by grooming themselves appropriately, acquiring excellent communication skills, being knowledgeable, and participating in corporate social responsibility programs of the company. And lastly, the last exam practice, it says to explain what is meant by the image of the business. 7.12, from the extract above, identify the term that is used to describe acceptable online behavior. 7.1.3, discuss one consequence for business if it disregards the importance of professional online. The way the business wants to be perceived by its customers, that defines professional image. The new concept is netiquette or e-professionalism. That is the concept that explains professionalism. The customers will lose confidence and loyalty and take their business elsewhere. The business will lose customers and income. The way they may want to look for another business where they can spend their money. They will look for business that will meet their expectation in terms of professionalism, quality service, and customer care. Negative and bad publicity will be the order of the day. Additional expenses will be incurred for marketing to offset the negative publicity. And on that note, thank you for being such a good audience, and till we meet next time. Thank you. Please work on past papers. Please work hard on this section as possibly as you can so that you don't get surprises during the examination. Please work diligently throughout the topic, and all the best of luck in the forthcoming examination. Thank you.